The ancient city of Tergeste, or Tergestum, today known as Trieste, is a symbolic bridge that connects Western Europe with South Central Europe, between Mitteleuropa and the Mediterranean world, whose northernmost gulf lies in front of this city with its immutable charm, next to the Carso Hill region and facing out onto the waters, with their docks and moorings and Europe's largest square on the sea. The architectural evidence speaks to us of a 1,000-year-old city that owes its growth to its port and sea commerce, which was already developing during the days of ancient Rome and eventually became the great free port of the Habsburg monarchy. Trieste, a city of port activities, of shipbuilding, of historic insurance and navigation companies, a city of coffee and historic cafes, the picturesque tramway of Opicina, and many evocative castles and historic buildings, of numerous theaters and museums, a cosmopolitan combination of many languages, being quite multicultural. The sea has always been a protagonist in the life of the Triestini, from the local economy to leisure to sport. The city also hosts the Barcolana, Europe's largest and most crowded sailing regatta. Trieste is also the city of science, with a numerous scientific community that is famous around the world. Within this context was born the excellence of Triestine cardiological research, represented in the University Hospital, the United Hospital, the Sports Cardiovascular Center, and the ICGEB, the International Center for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology. These centers are the soul of a versatile cardiological community, including an ample range of high-profile activities extending from the scientific field to the clinical area. The unique nature of this community renders the city a point of reference and attraction at an international level, both for young researchers and patients. An active flow of information, research, and clinical studies that introduce Trieste into a worldwide network. These lively activities of scientific and clinical interdependence, thanks also to the support of great volunteer associations, such as the Friends of the Heart, are the essence of the cardiological community of Trieste. Today, there are more and more patients affected by the so-called diseases of wealth, among which coronary arteriosclerosis and heart failure. The efficacy of healthcare revolves around medical professionalism, quality analysis, and technological progress. At the basis of everything, though, there must be a therapeutic alliance and a relationship of trust with the patient. These principles have always inspired the founding father of the Triestine cardiological community, Professor Fulvio Camerini. Over the last 10 or perhaps 20 years, we have seen an explosion in the technological developments in medicine, and particularly in the cardiological field. Of course, there has been a strong growth in superspecialization, and this growth has led to results that have been, without a doubt, marvelous, improving or even saving the lives of many patients. Naturally, we have to be careful that this technological explosion does not compromise the quality of empathy, the ability to take an interest in the lives of others. There is a French philosopher by the name of Edgar Morin who told us to be careful that hyperspecialization does not lead us to lose sight of the overall picture. Within the towers of the University Hospital is hosted the cardiovascular department. The structure is the local point of reference for research in cardiomyopathy, heart failure, and invasive surgery, and activities are divided into 4 structures: the cardiological department, with its associated intensive clinical and learning activities, the surgery department with 2 operating rooms and intensive care, plus the Department of Cardiovascular Medicine and Emergency Care. Within the field of research, there is also the Laboratory of Molecular Cardiology and Translational Medicine. Since 1999, the cardiovascular department has been headed up by Professor Gianfranco Sinagra.
Every year, 2,500 patients are treated at the Department of Cardiology, University Hospital of Cattanara in Trieste, Italy. The hospital serves as a hub for an area of more than 400,000 people, and more than 30% of its activity comes from outside the area and from other parts of Italy. Moreover, the hospital establishes solid cross-border relations, in particular in the setting of STEMI. Main fields of interest are heart failure, cardiomyopathies, acute coronary syndrome, and interventional treatment for structural heart defects. Our department grants full characterization of cardiomyopathies, including endomyocardial biopsy and genetics. We hold stable and reliable collaborations with the Department of Cardiac Surgery, forming the heart team, and with world-class laboratories on genetic analysis and research centers as Sg-B. A registry on cardiomyopathies, which enrolled more than 1,800 patients, most of them affected by dilated cardiomyopathy, is currently active in our center. This registry allowed us to promote international cooperations, to develop research projects, to attract funding, and to publish in high-impact factor journals. The Center of Translational Cardiology, equipped with the newest technology on DNA extraction and cell culture, attracts scientists, fellows, and technicians worldwide, and serves as a liaison with ECG-B's laboratories of molecular cardiology or regenerative medicine. The department hosts more than 35 fellows attending the residency program in cardiology at the University of Trieste. Our desire and aim has always been to deliver advanced medical treatment in a person-centered care setting.
The Cardiovascular Center was founded in 1969 and is headquartered in the Maggiore Hospital in the historic center of Trieste. Since then, it has guaranteed the resident population of the city and the surrounding area services related to prevention, diagnosis, and treatment of cardiovascular illnesses. This is a multidisciplinary team serving the territory, made up of doctors and nurses that perform all non-invasive treatment. Most useful for diagnoses is the stratification of the prognosis for cardiovascular patients. Overall, there are more than 60,000 analyses and tests using our instrumentation per year. There is also a mobile unit active for some years, dedicated to sport and the promotion of cardiovascular health. Directing the Cardiovascular Center is Dr. Andrea Di Lenarda.
Trieste
is one of Italy's most elderly cities and may be considered an experimental laboratory doing research on innovative solutions that will be useful at a national level in future decades. Over the last 50 years, the Cardiovascular Center has been the reference point throughout this territory's integrated hospital network for those patients with cardiovascular illnesses. After a recommendation from the general practitioner of the district health service, or after discharge from the hospital, patients come to undergo a cardiological visit, and if necessary are assumed as patients here after performing a complete non-invasive analysis using our instruments. The nursing laboratory intervenes in more complicated cases, offering educational services and continual assistance. This intervention is concentrated on education, the patients taking more responsibility, and self-treatment in order to improve patient cooperation with the programmed therapy. The integrated hospital IT network dedicated to our territory makes available in real time all the information necessary to treat our patients in the best manner. Thanks to the support of the University of Trieste and the Health Service Office of the Friuli-Venezia Giulia region, it has been possible in the last 5 years to create a cardiovascular observatory for the province of Trieste, which has over 30,000 patients currently registered. This is a unique observatory and clinical instrument which focuses on the real world. The International Center for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology is an international organization which has performed research and training activities in the field of molecular biology since 1987 within the framework of the United Nations. Trieste hosts its main offices and one of its principal laboratories, with others in New Delhi, India, and Cape Town in South Africa. The center operates at the cutting edge of gene therapy and stem cell research, aimed at defeating degenerative illnesses such as myocardial infarction and heart failure. There are more than 1,000 scientists who come here every year to participate in meetings and courses hosted at the institutes. The center is headed by Professor Mauro Giacca. The International Center for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology is a body that was founded within the international context at the United Nations about 30 years ago. The idea was to use genetics to resolve humanity's great problems, such as in the medical field, the agricultural sector, food, and biotechnology for the environment. Obviously, those activities in the field of illnesses is the area that has seen the most important developments, including vaccines, new medicines, and new technologies that seek to address humanity's greatest problems. Of course, one of the most pressing problems humanity faces, in terms of numbers, are cardiovascular diseases. About 1 person out of 3 will die of these illnesses. These people are dying not only in our countries, but also in the great metropolises of Africa and Asia. In fact, far more people die of these illnesses than die of infectious diseases, as may have been the case up to about 20 years ago. This is one of our great problems, that the heart is incapable of regenerating its own tissue. Once the heart experiences damage, such as typically after an attack, the only healing method is through the formation of a scar. What we try to do using the new biotechnology is to find genetic medicines that might convince the heart cells to repair themselves, to repair the damage the heart has experienced.
Del cuore a replicarsi e rigenerare I danni che il cuore stesso subisce.
Trieste, founded as an ancient fishing village surrounded by defensive walls, later became a rich port of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. This is witnessed in the city's vast architectural wealth, making it a sort of Vienna on the sea. Being, however, profoundly Italian, its rich mixture of cultures and traditions are alive and well. Being very strategic in the past, this city still demonstrates its welcoming character today and will remain so into the future, especially for the fields of science and research as they serve human progress.